I'm about to explain the difference between policy and statutes versus the real law from my perspective, so let me cook. But first, you need to understand what the United States of America is. The original inhabitants are the states, as in the people. They live on the land of America. You know, when people pass, you always see that term estate for all their assets, which be transferred to someone else, which would be one of their descendants. So all the sovereign people are the real states. The corporations tricked y'all to think states is an area of land with invisible borders, when really it's a jurisdiction of that state corporation. So essentially, state corporations replace the original estates. This is why the states take control of all the abandoned property within inside its jurisdiction. So when someone passes, the state decides what to do with their assets instead of the descendants. The sovereign people in America is the quote-unquote black people. We are not Africans. There's a reason why you see on all applications they'll have black/African American, all in order to confuse everybody into thinking we're all the same. But if we are the same, why would they use two totally different descriptions? I mean, clearly we have African people over here who are the African Americans. Like I always say, there's a reason why we can't be called an American. So I'm a sovereign person that haven't signed any contracts with the state, meaning I am not a citizen. I already know people like, oh, how you know you're not a citizen? That says United States Department of Homeland Security. What does it say? They used my birth certificate, my I-94, to see if I was a United States citizen and could not find no records saying that I was a United States citizen. Clearly says it right there. Official document. So there's proof right there, bruh, of everything I'm telling y'all. I'm gonna continue on. If I was born here and I'm not a U.S. citizen, what does that mean? I am sovereign to this land. Anyone who comes from another land is not sovereign here and has to register as a U.S. citizen in order to live here in America, but it'll be listed as a United States corporation that's posing as the states in America who are the sovereign people. So hopefully you have a better standing on who are the sovereign people, who are the non-citizens versus the immigrants, anyone who came from another land. They are the citizens. This includes people from China, Europe, Mexico, Australia, etc. Y'all get the picture. Law is a system of rules that governs how people behave, while legal refers to anything related to that system. Notice how the way legal is secondary from the law, meaning they place a legal system on top of the law system. The law, a set of rules that governs how people behave, a binding custom or practice of a community, a rule of conduct or actions that is prescribed or formally recognized as binding, the whole body of such customs, practices, or rules. Legal, relating to the law, following the law, sanctioned by law, conformity with the law, created, based upon, authorized by law, allowed by law, and the rules of the game. I'm gonna say that again. Rules in the game. This is a sick game they're playing, but like I say, I'm explaining this to y'all right now. So the original law system is the only system these sovereign people should be following, who are the non-citizens. The legal system is only for the immigrants, who are the citizens. The sovereign people was never supposed to be mixed into this at all. This is why I say non-citizen isn't supposed to work or pay for anything, because it's our land. So only the citizens that decide to come to our land is supposed to pay and work. Like, it's really not that hard to understand that, you feel me? But it's hard for a lot of people to accept it. Now check this out. Slavery was a legal institution in the United States. Now remember, I just told y'all the legal system was placed over the law system. Now notice how the way they say laws were used to justify and enforce slavery, which is a lie because they clearly tell you how slavery became legal in the United States right under that. Constitution, statutes, and customs, which is policies, which they considered quote-unquote positive laws. This means no laws made slavery lawful. It was clearly the legal system, which was for the citizens. This is what I always mean by they inverted everything. They reversed everything from how it originally was. So let's talk about court. Most people don't know it's actually the paperwork. Hence the reason why the post office is so important, because the paper is contracts and bonds. You see, what they do is they'll coerce you to go to their home court under their jurisdiction in order to intimidate you to comply to their orders, which is signing their bonds and contracts. because you are afraid of going to jail. Now imagine what's going to happen when everyone finds out court is literally a sick game where they play with people's lives. It's no different from the basketball court, the tennis court, the volleyball court, etc. Y'all get the picture. The way we look at those games is how they look at the game in the courthouse. Why do you think they keep track of their wins and losses? Now get this. Police, which is usually the city, and deputies, which is usually the county, are completely different. You see, deputies are only supposed to enforce the law, not no policies. If you look at a vehicle, it clearly says law enforcement. Also, these officials are elected by the public, so they have real authority, real power, versus police officers who really enforces the policy. But in all reality, their main purpose in the very beginning was to help enforce the law. But like I just said, they enforce the policy. And if you look at their vehicles, it clearly says policy enforcement. Don't let them words trick you just because it's spelled differently. But it's the exact same thing. Don't be fooled. Words are spells, as I always say. Also, these officials was never elected, meaning they have no authority, no real power at all. Essentially, they're equivalent to a security guard. This is the reason why you only see deputies serving court papers and playing major roles in the courthouse. Also, if you pay attention, you will notice their vehicles in every city, every town will be completely opposite of each other. So you know they're not the same, but it's up to you to do your own research, which they know you're not going to do. Well, at least most people. There's also a reason why people in the legal system needs to have a license, because it's a quote-unquote pass to do something unlawful. For instance, when any official uses emergency lights in a non-emergency situation, that is breaking the law. So that means every time you see somebody pulled over, that means that officer just broke the law. And he broke the law because someone broke the policy. How does that make sense? It doesn't, but it should only work on the citizens because they are the ones that agreed to it by coming over here, not the sovereign people who are non-citizens. So imagine how many Americans got pulled over for no reason and then an escalation occurred, which either sent them to jail, which in all reality is kidnapping, or they sent them back to heaven when the person should have never been pulled over in the first place because it's an unlawful act. So I said all that to say this. The legal system allows them to break the law to enforce policy, which again, like I said, makes no sense. Like I said, that's why they need a license. And this goes for just about everyone that needs one for their job, not just law enforcement. I'm talking about loan officers, car salesmen, insurance agents. Y'all get the picture. Because they have to break the law to do their job. So when all that happens, they hope you just break the policy so they can charge your trust account for that bag. And it's even better if they can coerce you to break the law. And it's over then, because the law correlates with universal law. That's why we had the Supreme Courts, to make sure everybody don't be breaking them at once, because obviously there are going to be issues people can't handle. So sovereign, non-citizen people is supposed to follow the universal law, and the people from all the other lands who are the citizens is supposed to follow the legal system, which is so strict and to the point you can't even break the law because you'll break a policy well before you break a law. I hope y'all picked up what I put down. But anyways, y'all know how to keep it. Y'all be guys. Hey.